G'day everyone, today we're going to be going over what to do if your evaporative swamp cooler is blowing hot air or your cooler pads are not getting wet. First, turn off the power to your evaporative cooler and open the side cover plates. Just remove the side tabs. Many evaporative coolers or swamp coolers are different, but they'll all have some sort of mechanism to pull off the side covers. Now this Breezair unit is only blowing hot air, so we're going to work out why that is. Selecting the remote control to cool does open the valve to allow water into the unit, so I can hear that, but the dump valve seems to be failing after a little bit of time. Now I'll just put this side cooling filter to one side safely so it doesn't drop down to our neighbour's house, and I'll show you some of the features that are inside the evaporative cooler. Like this water quality sensor detects the salinity of the water and dumps it if required. I haven't seen one fail yet. They're pretty reliable, just sometimes scale builds up on the bottom of them. Now this is the water level float valve. It's a simple device that just keeps the water level constant due to evaporation. You can adjust the level just by adjusting that float up and down. Now this next device, the Breezair dump valve, it's a 24 volt AC unit. It closes to hold the water in the bottom of this Breezair cooler. It does open to dump it and closes when it needs. But as an electrician, I've replaced so many of them, they're absolutely junk. Now these shut-off valves or drain valves will fit a Breezair, Bremer or Seeley unit. They have just caused me no end of trouble. I replace a lot of them as electricians, they fail really easy. There's an internal motor inside and a couple of limits. The little plunger down below, the gasket seal seems to get hard and the motor struggles to make a good seal to make the limit. If it doesn't make the limit, it'll try a couple of times, and if it doesn't reach it, the swamp cooler will either shut down the water or shut down the whole unit, depending on the brand. Now I'll just show you how to pull apart these drain valves, because this has given me a problem on this unit. So just use your thumbs to pull in the tabs and you can pull out this unit. You can see the scale that's built up around the piston slide. This can cause a bit of friction and cause the drain dump to stick. The rubber seal gasket can get old and brittle, and inside, I'll show you how to pull this apart. There's a little spring. Sorry, I couldn't quite get it in frame. Pull the spring apart and then lift off the top cover that just sits on, and here you have the motor and some of the limit switches. It's best just to replace them as a whole unit. It is a little bit expensive, but it's harder to find the exact motor part numbers or the limit switch part numbers. They all tend to just get water inside them and corrode and fail over time. There are 3 wires in here, an active and a neutral for the motor, and a brown switch wire. There's 2 limit switches inside for the open and closed positions of the dump valve. Now the problem with this dump valve was a little white piston that's connected to the drive motor. This was getting a little bit stuck, so I've lubricated it up a little bit and it seems to be a little bit more free now. Scale just tends to build up everywhere if you don't clean your swamp cooler regularly or do a service. I'll leave some links in the description and also at the end of the video for more how to service videos of swamp coolers. I'll just reattach this spring and then put the limit back together again. Really should clean off some of this scale, but I'll do that a little bit later. Just showing you guys what could be possible problems with your swamp cooler pads not getting wet or blowing hot air. The tip is just to watch your swamp cooler in operation. Is water getting into the unit? Is it dumping too much? Is it filling up too much? Is the pump working? Is the pads getting wet? There's a few things that could go wrong. 99 times out of 100, it's either this dump valve has failed, the inlet valve solenoid has failed, or the pump motor has failed. They're the 3 basic things that could cause the issue. Now this is the main incoming tap isolating valve, and up in here is 24 volt solenoid valve. It turns on and turns off depending what the evaporator unit asks for. It's also, if it has any problems or faults, it will emergency shut down that valve. It can leak over time, and what you'll need to do is just replace the valve. They're pretty reliable. It might give you 10 years plus service out of it before it needs to be replaced. Now, directly after the electronic valve is our float ball valve. So this just uses a little pendulum mechanism with a little diaphragm or rubber gasket that will stop the flow as the float goes up. Just pull off that blue cover and you'll be able to replace the rubber seal. Just be sure to test every operation that you do to make sure that it works as intended. Now I just wanted to quickly talk about the water cooler pump. It's called a Tornado and it's a 230 volt pump. It just sucks the water up from the bottom up through these tubes and comes out the top, which drips onto the cooling pads. The white box at the top is the Breezair brains of the unit. It supplies the variable speed to the motor and the other components in this evaporative cooler. Now be sure to check all the hoses that they're not cracked or leaking, as this could be a reason why your swamp cooler is blowing hot air. Once you've rectified the fault, box it all up, put in the clamps, and you should be good to go. Enjoy your nice cool Breezair evaporative swamp cooler. Now don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll show you other cool tips and tricks to keep your house cool during the summer.